There are so many people that benefit by having a human interaction with an animal. Could be any type of animal. It could be dogs, cats, even fish. And so in this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the benefits of animal therapy for those with autism. So there's all types of animal therapy for people who have autism, and it's not just limited to dogs. It could include a pet or an animal that assists you with your physical needs, your emotional needs, social support, in a variety of different ways. They are generally, though, I find that the ones that most people share are the most benefit are mammals. So some type of, animal other than, say, birds, amphibians, reptiles. Not that those aren't great pets, but when we're talking about therapeutic interventions, tend to have better responses with those who are mammals, particularly dogs. Not to say that sitting in front of a fish tank isn't very calming and soothing for many people, not just people with autism, because, we find that the things that benefit somebody who happens to have autism are the things that benefit everybody. So we at the Autism Society, we try to work like extra hard on not compartmentalizing someone into a certain box, that if you have this or you are this is what works, because we know with educators, the things that work for students with autism, they work beautifully for all students. So we kind of use that when we talk about inclusive education and the supports that benefit the one, benefit all. So I'm going to talk today just about, not certainly all of them, because this is not an exhaustive list. There's many different ways to be able to utilize animals in our day-to-day activities, but just a few of them I'm going to talk about today. So the first one is service animals. Again, it is generally a dog, and there are even certain breeds that tend to be a little bit more professional, if you will, in this particular activity that we need them to do. So these could be Labradors, Golden Retrievers, German Shepherds, and these service animals can work for an individual really at any age. So we see them from very young all the way up into the elderly. And actually, there's really some good research out there how the general population of elderly citizens, they really benefit by having that support dog with them, whether that's for their physical needs, their emotional needs. And they're generally trained to help a person navigate, right? Navigate their physical space, regulate their emotions, avoid negative interaction. So maybe something that's going to be dangerous that's, coming up. The animal has, through training, they have to be trained. So these, animals, certainly they have a general sense of, say, danger. But when we're talking about service dogs, these dogs are specifically trained to fulfill, right? To provide a service. We've seen lately some limitations on people being able to bring their pet into public spaces. And, a lot of times the person who owns that facility may say, well, what is the service that your animal provides? Okay, so just be thinking about that. If you are a parent of children, maybe who have autism, and you're looking into getting a service animal, be thinking about what type of service does my child need? It's the same thing when you go to IEP meetings and you're thinking about IEP services. What do they need? It's not about what the school has, it's about what your child needs. So it's the same thing here. Be thinking about what they need and how they could benefit from having a service animal. They're typically highly qualified, lots of training. I actually know a guy who that's what he does for a living. And when he trains the dog, it's dog specifically he trains, that dog is with him 24/7, constantly being trained in all different types of environments, so that by the time you guys get the dog, they're fully trained. They can be very expensive, but there are some really great nonprofits out there. So check those out and, see if that might be beneficial to you. Okay, so the next one is therapy animals. So these can be really any species, including birds and dogs and cats and guinea pigs and horses, brought into a therapeutic setting. Sometimes it is like on a farm where you could go visit and you could have what's called pet assisted therapy. So those animals might be there. Some people bring them into schools or maybe even medical offices where we know that, oh, it's going to be a little scary. So maybe these therapy animals will be helpful in reducing the level of stress in that environment. They definitely promote communication about the needs and the feelings, and they help individuals manage their emotions and even build on skills related to playing. These animals are meant to be support positive social interactions. And so, I was watching something actually online just recently. I think, well, it might have been on Netflix. I think it was a Netflix show, and it showed a family who has 2 children with autism in the family. And one of the children was exhibiting significant self-injurious behavior until they got a dog that was trained. And when you watch the program, you just see how the girl's total, like her whole aura just calmed down. She loved being around this dog, and the dog loved her. And the mom says that her self-injury basically disappeared. And so I don't know that that would do that with everyone. I doubt it. But, again, it's something to think about. And then we have emotional support animals. And that, we do hear a lot from the elderly, right? If they want to bring their pets on planes with them in grocery stores and things like that. So emotional support animals are not allowed everywhere, because the question again is going to be, what is the service that this animal provides? So if you have an emotional support dog, do not assume that you're going to have the same access as you would if it was a service dog. So just be mindful of that. They are different. So emotional support animals, they provide emotional support, right? A lot of them are the person's pet, right? They aid the person with autism, particularly in navigating stressful situations. It could be they travel with them. They might even go to different places with them within the community when that space allows emotional support dogs or cats or whatever, which they don't always do. So you just need to be mindful of that. Call ahead to find out. Generally speaking, when you see a service dog, they usually have like the vest on that says service dog or service animal. And for some people, they'll even tuck their papers into that thing that they wear into the vest. So just be aware of that. Pets, right? Pets are great. Lots of people have pets, and pets serve a variety of different roles. For one, they tend to help a person who struggles socially with understanding pro-social behavior. Because, pets, especially dogs, they are relational, they are domesticated. And so it's not uncommon for any child actually that grows up with the dog to grow to be extremely attached to that dog, as if that dog was a family member. They foster shared interactions like conversations and smiles, and the arrival of a pet into a person's life can really be transformative. And that doesn't matter if they're young children or if they're old adults. Last one I'm going to talk about is hippotherapy. So hippotherapy, which many of you probably listening to this are familiar with, but it's a unique style of animal therapy that involves riding and taking care of horses. It's not studied as much as is some of the other things I already talked about, but it has been shown to support physical, social, emotional well-being. And I have a lot of physical therapists that I've talked to where they love it, because when you are seated on the top of a horse, the way that you have to position your body, it helps you develop your core muscles. So those muscles that are basically in your stomach, around your sides, and in your back. Because as the horse walks, you kind of have to sway yourself in order to stay on the horse. You kind of have to mobilize yourself back and forth and move with the animal. And so for many people, it not only does that helps develop that core muscle group, but it also, for people who kind of aren't really sure where their body is in space, there's lots of people with autism with that. The sensory challenges that they have really affect them into just feeling where their body is in space. And horseback riding has been shown to have some really good results with that. So I hope you guys got a little bit of information from this. And I hope that you will follow us. And so wherever you're watching me or listening to me, I hope that you will write a review and let us know how we're doing. Let us know about the topics that you might be interested in, because we're always looking to make things better. And we did launch something called No Limits Global. So please check that out. It is beyond incredible. Like when you think about the most incredible speakers, presenters, experts on autism anywhere, those are some of the people that are on No Limits Global. And if we're going to talk about transformative, it is transformative. Many of them, I have been the person who has talked to them about their topics, and just incredible. And so I hope that you guys will check that out. If you go to autismfl.org, you'll be able to see it there, the link on the opening page. And so check it out. I hope that you grab yourself a ticket and just kind of follow us along. There will be new videos every single month. So it's not just a one and done. It's a growing and evolving platform that I think you're going to be pretty impressed with. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you again soon.